Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning back in. Glad you can make it back. Hope you guys are doing good and having a great day. So today we're going to be talking about who is the quote unquote boss in the relationship and what does that mean? Um, well, the short and sweet of it, it's not the woman. It's not her. It's not her. And if you have a good one, she already knows that. Listen, for those of you who have been with me for a while now and who have been with the channel ever since the beginning, first of all, you guys are the OGs, man. You guys are the OGs. So let me know who you are. Let me know who you are because I really want to give back to you guys. I really want to give back to you guys. So leave it down in the comment section. Let me know who you are. All right. Um, that being said, guys, let's get back on track because you know how I like to rant. Um, but those of you who have been with me for a while, I've always said, and I always will say, that men are the foundations of the family. They are the foundation of the family, and they are also the foundation of culture, of community, of nations themselves, right? Men are the foundations of families and nations. That's why I tell you guys this all the time because it's so true. If the husband falls apart, if the father falls apart, typically one and the same, everything falls apart. Why do you think that our society is doing so poorly without the fathers in the home? And why is it that single fathers turn their children out just as well as families with a mother and a father, while single mothers are significantly doing worse? There's a reason for that. The statistics don't lie, guys, and that's what they say. So, absolutely, men are the foundations because we're the ones that are maintaining infrastructure. We're the ones that go and fight the wars. We're the ones that are maintaining peace in the streets, more or less now, because of all the political adversity, and I mean, just animosity towards each other. But I'm not going to go into that right now. I've already went into it. I'll probably go into it again, but later on. Um, and men are the ones who maintain order in the home. Now, you could also argue that men are not doing that today for a few reasons. One, they're not even in the home. Well, that's because they're kicked out of the home because of court or because of family courts, because of the biases, because of the policies, the laws. That's one. Child custody, always, well, not always, but in most cases, more often than not, it's always, we're not, again, not always. I got to stop doing that. Um, More often than not, it's awarded to the mother or the wife, or I guess the mother at the time, not maybe not the wife, but yeah, the woman. We see this all the time. We see this all the time. Women get the week, right? The men get the weekend. But um, another reason is that through our processed food, who have inundated us with microplastics and um, all kinds of other shit that's destroyed our testosterone levels. I mean, in the early 1900s, um, men on average could bench press 225, and now today that has dropped significantly to 185. Just look around you. A lot of guys are walking, they're all closed in, they're all squirrely, they're all, just weird. You know, they don't walk with confidence. They walk with fear. They walk with anxiety, depression. Has to do with the food, has to do with water, has to do with policies, laws, has to do with culture in itself. social media for sure. Men have been weakened. Men have been weakened. Best way to destroy a nation is to weaken the men. And if I remember correctly, that's what Rome used to do. When Rome used to conquer its enemies, they would they would more often than not kill all the surviving men, or either that or force them to serve in their army, their military, and leave the boys to be raised by the women. Now, this is something that I did read a long time ago, right? So it could be a little outdated, and if I'm wrong, please let me know. But there's a there's a reason why. There's a reason why Sparta did so well in its beginning stages, and there's a reason why it began to fall so rapidly in its latter years. Same thing for Rome. Um, but we look at all of these great empires and we see how much impact a strong, competent, capable man has on their family, their community, and their their city, state, or nation. It's such a massive impact, as I was just talking about. So, um, when we're talking about the boss, I really hate using that term, but it's the one that we can easily understand, identify. Um, a lot of people would rather use the word king. I think that's a better terminology for it, right? Because your house is essentially your castle, and you want to make sure that you have the best empire that you can have for yourself. So, as you're building your empire, you are the one that's responsible for it. Can't forget that. So, um, what that means is you make every single decision. If you're the one that's pursuing, if you're the one that's directing, if you are the one that is ultimately responsible for someone else, you are also the one that makes the decision. But also, you are the one that bears the consequences of those decisions as well. So make sure you do your due diligence. That doesn't mean that you just walk all over everybody. It's not what that means at all, right? Because then that goes in the other direction of a tyrant. Of course, should you rule with an iron fist? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, because you must be respected. If you're not going to be respected, you need to go where you are. There are conditions for everything. There is no such thing as unconditional love. No such thing. That was a lie that we were sold. And I will go into this more in depth in another video. But everything has a condition, and conditions must be met. If they're not met, that's grounds for termination for of the contract, so to speak. So, again, you're the boss. You're the king, right? You are the emperor. You are over your castle, your empire. You make the decisions. You bear the responsibility of wherever direction it goes. But that also means you sit down with the family. Now, if it's something that doesn't involve the kids, obviously they're left out of it. But since it's not just you that's affected, you need to sit down the girl, the woman, right? Because I don't recommend you guys get married here in the West, at least. But if you are overseas, your wife, but you're a woman. You sit down, you have a conversation. If she has some great ideas, cool, take them into consideration. Absolutely. Right. It's not always the guy that has great ideas. Right. And so you sit down, you have a very calm, collected conversation, and you work as a team. You work as a team, but with very specific roles. Very specific roles. Yet you are the one that's leading the interaction. You are the one that is ultimately making the decision. Men want to lead, women want to follow, but they also want to make sure they're following the right man. It's one of the reasons why women are so unhappy today is because they can't really find that man. Because we've been so dumbed down, we've been so weakened, like I was saying, through all this processed food, through all of this social media, through these shorts on YouTube, on TikTok, right? Who has been chipping at our attention span to where it's only 15 seconds. Sooner or later, that'll be 10 seconds. Then maybe 5 seconds, and then it might be reduced to a meme. We already do that with posts now. So, I can understand women's frustrations. I really can. I really can. But on the other side of that too, and obviously because we're talking about men's issues here, and I'll get to women's stuff later on, but and it's not that I don't deem women important or not. Women are incredibly important, but women aren't the ones who are maintaining infrastructure, right? They're not the ones who are taking on the roles of the men, ultimately having as much impact as men. Now, don't get me wrong, women are the selectors, and I do believe of relationships as well, of sex and relationships. I do believe that. I don't believe the lie that we were sold on that they may be selectors for sex, but we're the selectors of relation. That no, that doesn't make sense. Anyways, um, well, before I continue, I say that they are also the selectors of relationships because we pursue them, correct? And since we pursue them, they either go along with our advance or not. That's why I say that. But anyways, I'll leave that there and I'll continue on. Um, on the other side of that, you also have women who are nowhere near worthy of a relationship. And that's going to be hard to hear for a lot of women out there. But if it's hard for you to hear, take a good look at yourself. I'm not digging at you, and I'm not digging at these men either. It's more of a tough love kind of thing. Think within yourself. Are you supportive? Um, do you prefer to give someone peace instead of venting to them when you come home from work or when they come home from work? Do you find yourself always kind of wanting to start arguments, kind of wanting to nag or bicker, right? Do you wake up happy every day? Do you do you wake up choosing to be happy every day? Is there something that gets you excited about who you're with that makes you want to do things for them? most and most women, no, no. Um, and it look it is what it is today. It is what it is. That's why the divorce rate is so high. Well, it's going down, but that's also because marriage is going down too. I used to see headline after headline of wedding shops or wedding dress shops going out of business because no one's buying wedding dresses. No one's getting married anymore, let alone having kids, you know? So, absolutely. But, this is a video that's going to be about, why people are so miserable. Because I think I've already touched on that quite a bit. If you are the one, typically, I'm talking to the men here. If you are the one that's waking up in the middle of the night to defend the family as you are expected to, because that's not coming from you, that's coming from your wife or girlfriend or woman, and that's also coming from your kids or kid. If you get a guard dog and the guard dog just brings a bone to the home invader instead of ripping her leg off, is it a guard dog? No, it's not. And so if a home invasion happens and you're cowering in the corner and you have no idea what to do and you're literally pissing yourself, are you considered a man? No. No, you're not. Man's got to do what he's got to do. Where a lot of guys get mixed up is that we don't take that same energy into our own families. We let our families do whatever because we're afraid to rule with an iron fist. That doesn't mean be a tyrant. That just means you're very strict on your boundaries. You're very strict on the direction of the relationship and a vision for the family. That's what you're very specific about. That's all that means. And if someone is out of line, you get them back in line real quick. So that's just all it means. Or they can go somewhere else. Or you can go where you're appreciated, where someone is going to expect that from you to begin with. And that's just a traditional lifestyle. That is just a traditional lifestyle. And there's a reason why we've survived for hundreds of thousands of years. But now, because we've implemented all these new ideas, we we begin to find so many societies and cultures that are essentially going extinct because we're not reproducing. Um, Anyways, you're the boss. You make the decisions, but you also sit down with your woman, you talk with them, right? Come up with, you come together, you come to a conclusion, right? And then you say, okay, well, we're going to do this. What do you think? What what do you have to say? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Okay, well, I think this is a better avenue. You explain it. Okay, cool. It's a teamwork, guys. Teamwork makes the dream work. But at the same time, you're the one that makes the decision. Because that is taking a lot of pressure off her and the family. Because women don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Let me tell you a story real quick. There was this guy who is an entrepreneur, very successful businessman. I saw this a while ago. I believe it was on, was it on Was it on Pearl's podcast? I can't remember. But I saw it on someone's podcast a while ago, and he was telling a story of this woman that he was dating for a little bit, who was also an entrepreneur and a business owner. And when they were getting together for a date, he took the lead. He said, "Look, we're going to go here. We're going to do this. It's going to be a great time. Wear something nice for me. Wear a pretty dress. Wear something maybe red or something like that." And that woman responded so well to what he had told her to do that it was a really great. Now it didn't work out as far as I know, but what she had said to him was that it was so relieving that I didn't have to make any decisions. Was that you took the lead and you essentially took me from being a man. Women want to be women, but in this society, they've been so stuck and so indoctrinated to be men, which is why they're so miserable today. And likewise for us, we've been so emasculated through school, through college, or yeah, school, through school, through food, water, social media, culture itself. And all of us are miserable because of that. And so which is leading you to this video to understand what it means for a man to be the boss of the relationship or the king or the emperor. I like to think of it that way, the king or the emperor. Maybe a little bit egotistic, sure, but I don't care what you think. My home is my castle. And this one here is my trusty steed. Isn't that right? Tell him. Why do you look so why do you look so traumatized, dude? Um but you're the boss. You make the decisions. You are ultimately the one that's responsible for the family and their decisions. So not only are you coming to make a decision for the direction of the family, but you're also the direction for them specifically. That's why fathers are so important when it comes to the installation of their own values within their sons or their daughters. Women just don't do that. They just don't do that. Why? Because women's nature is nurturing and caring, support. That's women's nature. They weren't meant for whatever you, whether you believe that we weren't designed for whatever reason, that we we were created to act in a specific way, or we evolved this way. Whatever you believe, what is true is that this is the way that it works. And us men, we must perform these duties. Must. It's not a choice. It's not a negotiation. This is how we must act. So don't be afraid to put your foot down. Don't be afraid to do that at all. Especially for yourself. Especially for yourself. But you must always remember that you are the boss. It's never her. It is never her. And if she wants to be the boss, you're in the wrong relationship. There cannot be two drivers in a car. Can't be. A car cannot go in two different directions. Every team has one leader and one follower. Well, I mean, one leader and multiple followers, but every team has one leader. Let's just put it that way. So don't be afraid to make a decision when a decision needs to be made. Don't be afraid to take initiative. Don't be afraid to lead the interaction. Don't be afraid to sit down and have a conversation and just make a choice. Don't be embrace actually, like I was telling you to embrace your masculinity, embrace being the boss. As soon as you do that, if you're not, you will begin to see a massive difference. Now, I have heard a lot of stories where the women would buck them to see if this change is an actual change or if this is just something temporary. You don't want women to go mommy mode with you. You will never have respect that way. Never. So you got to go boss mode. You got to go king mode. You got to go emperor mode and run that shit like it's supposed to run. The way you see fit is the way it's supposed to be. And if it's not, you better change it, buddy, or it's not going to be good for you. So learn it from, take this from a guy who didn't do that at all, but has learned that. All right, guys. So again, make the decision. Be the boss, right? Tell people where to go, tell people what to do. Make the decision, sit down, have a conversation, ask their input, right? Because it's not that you just want to make them feel as though they're heard or they're seen or they're taken care of, but that they're actually, you want them to be a part of the team, the situation. You don't want to you don't want to feel as though that you're the only one that's running everything. All right? Because you shouldn't, the team. But I'm going off I'm going off here. So that's pretty much going to wrap up the video, guys. If this helped you out at all, please like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel, guys. Um, thanks, guys, so much for watching. And if you guys happen to have any nuggets of information that you would like to drop in the comment section, please do. Um, like I told you guys before, I don't have everything figured out. I never claimed that I did, and I never claim that I will. Or, well, yeah, I never claim that I will, but um, I'll never claim that I do. That being said, guys, let's come together. Let's figure it out together. If there's something that I've said wrong in this video, make sure you let me know. All right, guys. Like I said earlier. So thanks again, guys, for everything that you do. Make sure you're watching out for yourself. Okay, take care of yourselves, both mind and body. Go get fit. I went to the gym earlier, right? Half leg day because I did lunges. What was it? Yesterday or the day before, I think. I think it was the day before. So my legs are still dead. My hot bones are still crossed. So um but also mentality too. Don't neglect the mind, man. Don't do it. Don't neglect the mind. Right? Get right. Okay. And do everything that you can to get right. Don't half ass it. All right, guys. Don't half ass it. All right. And also lift other people up too. Someone struggling, help them. It really means a lot, man. It really does. So that being said, guys, as always, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon.